Hey guys, what's up? Welcome again to the channel. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. So instead of playing a Legacy League, I like to show you something. So yesterday I played Sunday Legacy Challenge, and do you know what? I ended up on second place. I lost the finals very late at night. Nothing to do against Fish Dudgery, who had his or their revenge, because I won them on the last round of the Swiss. So 1-on-1 overall against Fish Dudgery. Hope to be paired with you again someday, man, and have our decisive encounter. But so very happy about it. We were 101 players, so like the movie 101 Dalmatians, something like that. Uh, Very silly joke. Very interesting tournament overall. You can see on the top 8 representatives, very wide spread of different decks, 2 tempo decks, 2 landish decks, control kinda, 2 artifact decks in 8 cast and painter. So yeah, very interesting. Let's move back to MTGO. Okay, so we are going to go through the game history and talk through the games very fast, I hope. And yeah, for you to see and enjoy my second place yesterday on the Legacy Challenge. So let's go. Okay, there we go. First round against Carroth. So we are going very fast. Playing map. They kill it. Okay, I wanted to have a Reclaimer. They counter it. Stoneforge for Caldra. I had the Maze of it for it. Let's see if we can manage normal speed. Okay, I tried to needle them. They responded. Now the whole game is just a battle between Maze of it and the Caldra, basically. Trying to keep up. I happen to have the Dark Depths combo, but if I spended the mana on the Dark Depths, it would be left just with 2 available manas on Thespian and the Forest, which I felt it was too risky. So, and this continued for a while. Just they attacking and me trying to defend the ground as much as possible. But eventually they ended up playing True-Name Nemesis. It's going to happen very soon, I think. And here I conceded the game. Well, I survived 1 turn. But it was just a matter of time. Yeah, that's it. Let's move to game 2. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's try at normal speed. But the tournament is very long. So there's Reclaimer. They kill it. there's Carpet of Flowers, very good, but that was my mistake. If I had deployed first the land, I could have paid for the carpet, so yeah, bad sequencing on my end. They had the Stoneforge again, ready to battle. Here comes Caldra to do the job. Okay, that was a very good pickup with Once Upon a Time. So working the mana towards it. And here I intend to copy at the end of turn. Just absorb some damage. We had the back to basics covered without land anyway, but Ulamog can do the job, so I target here back to basics and the Caldra, and they conceded. So yeah, they realized with the eye active with mana to use it, it was a matter of time that the game fall to my side. So okay, here we are for the game 3. I tried to deploy a pitting, they counter it. Again, Stoneforge on turn 2. To put the pressure, I had the Maze to cover it, as in game 1. They missed third land, that's why they used Ponder instead of deploying the Caldra, which bought me some time, so that was good. Here comes the Caldra, Maze doing the job. I picked Yavimaya because we needed green mana, and that's the best one, although it made us vulnerable to back to basics. Okay, just holding the ground for a bit. If you ask why they insist attacking every single turn with Caldra, let me tell you that that's the correct thing to do. Force me to use the Maze, especially now that I have Yavimaya. It's 1 mana that you are keeping me from using at instant speed, and this could be relevant for Once Upon a Time, Endurances, etc. So if you ever happen to be in that spot, force the Maze of it player to use it, especially when they can use Maze for mana. Here comes the Titan, thanks to Cavern of Souls that we fetch with the Expedition map. We were vulnerable for a turn, but it didn't really matter. We ramp it out pretty good. That probably was a mistake, going for the 2 forests. Now I'm talking having the knowledge of what happened on the game. I should have gone for Cloudpost and A of Ugin probably, but I was afraid that they had back to basics, so I wanted some mana I could keep using in that case. So imagine I went for the Cloudpost I game and they deploy back to basics, I'm completely shut out. So that's why I went for the forest, though probably still would have been better to go for the post. We got the eye anyway, thanks to Once Upon a Time. Okay. Now from here on it's just survival plan until we can start deploying our threats. You can see we keep going with the Maze. They tried to dig for an answer, I went for Ulamog. There he comes. I exile both of their artifacts that were the threats. They get rid of the Ulamog, which is fine, but I am 26 life, and now we are ramped to do whatever we want basically. Now it's just a matter of getting the Emrakul, and that's it. Okay, they got back to basics, but I got the Force of Vigor ready for it, and they conceded to that because they knew I had enough mana to search for Emrakul, and that's it. So 1-0 at this point. Let's move to round 2. Okay, round 2 against Sumimasen. This is a Japanese word to say sorry or excuse me, depending on the context. So move to 6 on the draw. Okay, we started out with a Cloudpost. We were against Shadow. We played 3 times against Shadow this tournament. So we tried to shut down their wastelands, they countered it, and they completely blasted out my hand. So here we are relying on map exclusively. Okay, going for the Maze of It to try to control this board. Let me turn down a little bit the volume. So that was a very good top deck to keep up in the game. So now when you have an active Reclaimer, the whole game changes completely. I think I messed up this game, yeah, if I remember properly. So here I get rid of Maze, because in my head, I don't know why, I thought I had the Titan instead of the Green Sun. I was thinking about, I have to play the Titan, but what I meant was I had to Zenith for the Titan. But in my head, I messed up completely, and I gave up on Maze of It, which was a very important part of the game plan. So huge mistake on my end. So I got the Thespian here, so I had the option to pivot into a Dark Depths combo. That's what I did. They had the Brazen, so that was a very tough spot for me. I wasn't deploying the Green Sun because I wanted Reclaimer active all the time for Glacial Chasm. If you're wondering why I'm not using the Green Sun, so I want to use the Green Sun for Titan, but I want to have 2 extra mana to keep me alive. That's when it comes, the Glacial. And now it's a kind of a staring match. I fetched for Thespian to keep going with the Glacial. They were a very bit unlucky because they didn't have Wasteland the whole time. Here we can copy and sacrifice, go up a little bit on life. Now we start again with the counters. It was a very good draw, extremely good draw here. So now we can start developing our game plan, and once we get Emrakul on the table, and Caracas to go with it. This is already over, and that was extra. Yeah, we bounce, we get another extra turn, and we are looping at this point, so they are not going to have another turn anymore, since Emrakul is uncounterable. So yeah, very messy game. I shouldn't have given up on the Mathofit to start with. Then probably I should have been more proactive with the Green Sun as well. And I wouldn't say going for the Maril Age was a mistake. It just happened that they had the one-off answer for it on their whole deck. So be it. Probably shouldn't have gone for it anyway, but okay, I don't consider it a punt, but the math of it play was a punt for sure. Unpunished, but let's go to game 2. There we go. So they get rid of my wands. I decided not to use it because I wanted to see if they... I really thought they would choose Pithing Needle over the Once Upon a Time, and I said okay, it's okay, but probably should have used it for a LAN, force them to use it on one of these, but it's okay. We need a Wasteland, and they had a very strong start with Double Shadow, which puts a lot of pressure on me. And they happen to discard the Ulamog, and now you'll see a very fun game where they ended up reanimating my Ulamog for the win. Oh, it wasn't this one, okay. So my memory is a little bit messy, so it was just a bit down with the shadows. They countered my crop, which intended to go for Mathofit. Yeah, that's it. Very quick game. Game 3. We need a Wasteland. They start again with Thoughtseize, getting rid of map. This is mainly to avoid me having Mathofit. We start to ramp out. Went for a Reclaimer, they kill it. And they played Surgical on my Reclaimer, so, and later on deploying the Murtide, so we are out of Reclaimers here. They counter my second map, so I deployed a Ramunap. Their Shadow. I was forced to play the Glacial here, too much damage to face in this spot. So I happened to top deck the Ulamog for the win here. Very lucky. I was hoping to get another map. I was going to recover the forest to have green mana and maybe find a crop rotation or a Elvish, whatever, try to go for the eye, but we got the Ulamog naturally, so yeah. 2-0. Okay, round 3 was against 2 + 2 is 5. They were playing Temur Delver, so another tempo-ish deck. Okay, we started with an Elvish, which they killed if I remember properly. That's it. Here I played both. They countered the second one and killed the third. Yeah, So maybe it was a little bit greedy for me to double a spell into Death. Okay, we Needle Wasteland here. They got a Channeler. We went for this stage to combo, and here they tapped out for Minsk, which felt very weird to me. So the coast was clear to combo, and that was it. So I don't know what did they have on their hand, but for me it felt very strange that they decided to tap out completely with Minsk. When I had the combo available, but not that I'm going to complain. Okay, moving to game 2. Let's put it on normal speed for a while. Okay, we deployed Reclaimer. Happen to have a second channel and a removal spell. That was a huge amount of damage incoming. Okay, second Reclaimer, trying to develop our game. Though I was facing very rough spot here. Okay, they had another removal spell for the second Reclaimer, so going down to 12, and Wasteland as well, down to 6, and they got a Life from the Loam. So here was probably best top deck on the deck. So we happened to get to 6 mana instantly to deploy Primeval Titan. We got Bojuka and Glimmer to recover some life, putting off this Drown Rage. Maybe I should have gone for double Glimmer, because they happen to recover Delirium very fast. You'll see now. But I needed to face that Life from the Loam as well. But an active Titan is a huge game breaker. I happen to have another Glimmer on hand, which I deployed here. Went up to 8 with the eye, get rid of the 2 channelers, and they concede the game. So very lucky top deck again on Carpet. Normally this game should have gone to waste with their super aggro, super fast, dominant start, but Carpet of Flowers turned it completely upside down, instantly going up to 6 for Primeval, and Primeval takes over the game very quickly. So fortunate, not that I'm going to complain, but things should be addressed properly, and it was a super perfect top deck there. Okay, 3-0 at this point and very hopeful. Okay, round 4 against FGC on Cephalid Breakfast, but it wasn't the usual list of Cephalid. So you will see in a while that they were playing Dimir instead of Esper, so no white, plenty of discards, Bial. I didn't know that obviously at that point, but I started to realize once they start deploying Voidwalkers and not having any white mana in several turns was suspicious as well. Here they fetch for the Cephalid. And now, if I recall properly, they are going to deploy a Voidwalker. There it is. Shuko. So now they have the combo available since they have Cephalid on their hand. So if at any point they happen to be able to shut down the Elvish, they win, but they don't have Needle main deck, so we are good. Here they got my Titan. Unfortunately, that was very scary. Oh, and they went for a couple of sagas again. So they had a huge clock. I happened to find Emrakul. So here it's a pure race, but we need to keep in mind all the time that we have to be able to activate Reclaimer to stop them from comboing. Now at the end of this turn, we are going to keep developing our mana for the Emrakul we have on hand. We even are able to go for Caracas with the map, and at this point we've already won since we have the loop available and they concede. Okay, there we go. Game 2. We have a bit heavy landed hand, but we love Reclaimer openings, so difficult to say no to them. Endurance was a huge top deck in case they try to combo. Okay, they stopped me of getting second Reclaimer, which they have to, and they happen to have the Cephalid. So Carpet, very good top deck here. We go for Shuko, which they had. Yeah, there it is. So Needle saving the day. Now at this point it was just matter of who was able to dismantle the other one. We tried to ambush this Cephalid, but we couldn't. They had a removal for it and an Arcomiva for the beatdowns. We keep developing our mana. And now we have quite of a long run of turns, which we are kind of staring to each other, flooding out heavily. They didn't find anything relevant either, so very weird game at this point. You'll see that we keep drawing lands. They keep attacking for 2, they cannot equip, thanks to Needle. No other land, which I couldn't deploy, it's legendary. There they went Brainstorm Block themselves, so very stupid game. They got their own Needle, naming Reclaimer, which was very clever, but we top dedicated a crop for the eye, and I gets me the monster, and that's it. And at this point we were 4-0, and yeah, it felt very good. Okay, round 5 against MM17, which topped 8 as well. You'll see here it's the 8th seed playing Shadow, and this is the one that got me with the funny play. You'll see. As always, it's a matter of velocity. If they can push through fast enough for me not being able to defend. That Wasteland was very aggressive, since now I had Maith to defend. Not that they knew about it though, but yeah, they keep the aggression on. Thoughts is okay. They are going in for 3 damage. We look for a Thespian. The idea here was to copy Maith and create a wall of defense. It's useful as well in case they top deck it a Wasteland, to have another piece of defense already, and we copy it. Here I want to highlight something. So the sequence, you'll see that I happen to have the Thespian and Vesuva. If you can, use first the Thespian, as we did here. I copy the Maith. Okay, now I have a Maith with the ability of Thespian stage, and then when you deploy the Vesuva, if you happen to have the original land and the same one copied with Thespian, copy the Thespian, because the Vesuva gets as well the ability of the Thespian. So now we have 2 Maith of Each that can turn into something else if we need it. So you may find it very obvious, but well, it's something to have into consideration. Minor things that can matter a lot. So okay, I just wanted to point it out. Now at this point, I send my friends a screenshot, like they are not going to pass, like in Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings. So you can see here they have 2 threats. I have 3 defending lands, an active Reclaimer. So that's why they conceded at this point. It's just virtually impossible for them to punch through. Okay, game 2. So this wasn't neither the one with the funny play, it was the next one, I think. Okay, the thoughts is trying to keep me from getting Elvis Reclaimer. I need a Wasteland as always. They got the second Needle, which I thought it was a little bit weird, because first they decide, we had doubles, so 2 needles, 2 green suns. First they decide to go for the green sun, then they change their mind and decide to go for the pitting when I already have one. It felt weird to me at this point. Probably because they have a removal spell for whatever creature I happen to look with green sun. We got another one. I wasn't playing the sun trying to get around Death. So here comes a very big shadow. Very big shadow. The biggest one possible, indeed. So get the maze. And let's start with the defense game again. Now we look for Reclaimer. They are at 1, so they cannot deploy Snuff Out with the alternative cost. They can hardcast it if they ever happen to get the 4th land. So another Shadow Man. Okay, they counter Reclaimer. Still have 2 mana available for the one that is active, and we need it. Going for the Glacial here. We need to defend again. So many games are competitive thanks to this is relevant. Let me talk about this Gurmag for a second. When they went full attack on me, I was a bit surprised at the moment because they are at 1, and I thought, man, I searched for the Glacial, and if they happen to not have another creature, I just have to attack and kill them. But they had the creature. Here it's the Gurmag, so very relevant display here, which forces me to keep around defending with the Glacial instead of trying to go for the win. Fighting this Thespian was very relevant as well. So it let us restart the Glacial game. So we ramp out a little bit. We copy, sacrifice the original one, recover some life, so we can start again with Glacial. Just backup Needle. At this point I started to feel strong, but they have the Snuff Out. They couldn't cast until this point because they were at 1. And now we happen to have enough mana to search for the Titan. That's what's going to happen here. And let's Titan do Titan things. I was wondering for a while which combination was best, but I ended up playing Glimmer and Iofugin. And yeah, they concede at this point because they realize that once I'm tapping, I can let Glacial die, and I still have 4, 8, 9, 10. But if I attack, I can search for 2 more posts, and well, the point, not really. So the development would be just pay the life, go to 4, pass the turn. At the end of their turn, transform the Glacial into another post, activate I, go for Emrakul, and that's it. So yeah, that was the line. So 5-0. Running very hot at this point and beating 3 tempo decks, which normally are kind of the nemesis of what we intend to do in terms of velocity. Not the worst, combo is the worst for sure, but tempo is not a comfortable matchup, but we manage. Okay, round 6, and this is the third shadow player we encounter, and finally, I promise, this is the one that gets us with the fancies. You'll see. They happen to find Grief. I don't remember if it's this turn or the following one, but soon enough you'll see. I think it's this turn. Here it comes. They discard the Ulamog and they reanimated it, going down to 2. And at this point I was, what? I let them punch through once. I checked, here you cannot see it, but I checked. I don't know why it's not shown here. I checked the exile cards. I can interact. I didn't know I could interact here. Oh, this interface is fantastic. Okay, so I checked and I saw that Caracas was already exiled, so I didn't have any out to this Ulamog, so I conceded. Okay, game 2. Okay, I think this been the tournament that map has been most countered by far. People go crazy with map, which I understand, but normally it's a piece that people tend to let it be, worrying more about reclaimers and green sun. But yesterday, poor maps were absolutely dismissed. Okay, here I run into death. Not that I have many options available, because next turn I need 2 open mana for the reclaimer, and the only land I have is the Chasm, which is not the best. They happen to have a quite respectable clock as well. Here I'm trying to prevent a Murtide or a Gurmak. That's why I went for the Endurance. Now Chasm doing Chasm things. Land, it's fantastic. Missing land drops is probably one of the worst things that can happen to this deck. Here we can start to develop. They buy a turn, bouncing the reclaimer. Here my idea was to go for Ramunap, but they counter it, then play the reclaimer, because the following turn with Chasm is going to be very painful. Paying 6 something you don't really want to do, but it is what it is. I think here we went to fetch Thespian, or okay, we went for Maith directly, deploy another Endurance. We had the mana to pay for it, for the Death I mean. So we have some blockers, a Maith to control this shadow. We are not protected against Wasteland though, so which I thought they would be looking for with the reclaimer that they animated. Now we got the Thespian to have the double maze available. But I decided to go aggro since they only have, so look, here the point is that they only have 1 mana available. They missing land drops was huge this game because they couldn't afford really to be activating the Reclaimer for Wastelands or whatever. And here, even if I feared another Brazen, they don't have the mana, so that's why I went for the Depths option here. And we got a eye as well, and they were dead to Marilage. So 1-1 at this point. Okay, game 3. I don't remember this one. Okay, and again, they prioritize map over other things, which is interesting. They let Carpet go, and Needle as well. So this is very interesting. So I would normally think that they would prioritize Carpet or Needle, but they went for map. Here they have the fancy play again, going for Ramunap. No, they went for the Grief, for the scam start. Here we have our Reclaimer, which I don't recall if it survives or not. I think it does, but they bounce it. Okay, we have a Depths available. This is the match that I messed up. Well, messed up, kinda. So the point is that I probably should have fetched Maze of It at some point, but I decided to go for the Thespian. Look, let me explain here. They only had 1 card in their hand, and they have already deployed the Brazen, so I thought I was good to go with the Depths combo, but still probably should have gone for Maze of It anyway. Deploy another Reclaimer. I went for the combo at this point because if not I wouldn't have the mana to do it. Well, I would, but I wouldn't have the mana to activate Reclaimer. So since they don't have a sorcery speed removal anyway, I thought it was fine, and it goes around them having a wasteland. But I decided not to play the Glacial, and they happen to have a second Borrower, which I didn't expect at all. And yeah, at this point I was just beating my lips, and the removal here is just something I can do anything about. So two things to consider here. I don't really think it was a misplay to go for the Dardex combo. They have already deployed 1 Borrower. They were only 1 card in hand. Man, okay, you got a second Borrower, so be it. But surely it was a mistake not deploying the Glacial. Probably. Here I could have survived, but I would have sacrificed the Carpet. The problem is that then we don't have mana to activate Reclaimers, only thanks to Carpet, but that forces us to do it at sorcery speed, and at which point I think we are fucked up anyway. So yeah, very tough Brazen here. Here I was hoping to champ block once, activate for I don't know, Maith probably, and try to survive a little bit longer, but okay, they got us. 5-1, round 7. Okay, we were talking a little bit. This was the last round of the Swiss against the champion. So we'll have a rematch on the finals. They are on Yorion 5-color Yorion control leash deck with plenty of wastelands though. It's more land based than other versions. They play the Omnath as well and Gitrog and Thalia, so plenty of synergies with lands and so on. Here we were playing an aesthetic match, Reclaimer versus Wasteland, which I felt we were losing because they were developing and I was stuck. Here I decided to go for it because the only land I had was Yaimaya and I couldn't deploy it, and I was hoping the crops could save me from Wasteland. They have a force. They happen to have a second Wasteland as well, which was very scary. Here we look for a land, trying to develop. And here comes the surprise with natural order, which I didn't expect at all. Very scary stuff. This is what they found with Atraxa. Managed to get rid of it, but we were way behind at this point. They have a full grip and I was very low on resources. The only thing keeping me alive really in this game was Caracas. And here starts the Ramunap bits. And let me speed up because from this point on it's just a merciless punish from them. So they are able to redeploy Atraxa, which finds another wasteland. So Wasteland, Ramunap, and being able to hardcast Atraxa from this point on, it's going to close the game very fast. Here is the Thalia and Gitrog that I mentioned. Even found Grist. And now I'm going to say shamelessly that I was just making them waste time. You got to do what you got to do in this spot. Against control, I was already 4 minutes up on the clock, so yeah, I will do the same again, and I will in the future. especially when playing at these high tables. Maybe I wouldn't do it if I was already out of the tournament, just playing for fancies, but here you can see that I made them waste 2 minutes just staying around. That was their mistake, by the way, because they could have just gone attack, pass, attack, pass, attack, pass, and that's it. But they wanted to be featuring with their own stuff. But okay. They really crashed us this game. Okay, game 2. On the play. Mulligan. This is a keep for sure. The two creature that hold the deck and little bit of ramping. Yeah, they are doing their own rampish thing. Well, more than ramping is just going deeper on their deck and fixing their mana, which is very important for a 5-color deck. Well, they call it 5-color. It's more like a 4-color with a very slight splash to red, but okay, let's call it 5-color. Okay, at this point, I think I went for Yavi. Okay, yeah, that's what I did. I could have gone for Primeval here, but I decided to get a little bit of defense first, which didn't last very long, as you can see. And they got the Wasteland and the Ramunap to go with it. So here starts the staring match. I decided to go for Titan directly. I have mana up for Reclaimer if necessary, and here we have plenty of mana. So next turn is just about activating Eye, which they didn't really waited to see. I don't know if they knew about this Eye. I don't think so. But okay, probably they didn't found any removal for Primeval and they decided that was powerful enough. So game 3. So I kept this opening hand because I had access to Reclaimer and these members, which is going to be relevant as you'll see in a bit. There's an endurance that it's not really relevant. They went mulligan to 6 or to 5, I don't really remember. Mul to 6, mul to 6, okay. Here they happen to have the natural order again on turn 3, very quick natural, and they found removal, force of will, a little bit of everything, honestly. Again, we are playing this Karaka game, Now I don't recall what I look for. Cloudpost. Okay, that makes sense for the Vesuva. They kill the post anyway, but we happen to top deck an Elvish, which is really nice. And here comes one of the most important plays of the game. They use Green Sun to look for Grist, and when they activate, I kill the Dryad, so they don't have a creature. They get rid of Mythofit. Now I can kill the Grease, get rid of it, keeping the Elvish around, which was very important. Another Endurance on their side. But we can absorb some damage at 16, it's okay. I could have played Endurance probably, but just decided to wait. Just in case I needed to deploy this member at some point. Here, probably I sequenced it badly. As you may remember, we were talking before. Normally, it's better to use first Thespian, copy whatever you want to copy, and then Vesuva the Thespian. So, a little bit of bad sequencing here on my side. Another Endurance. They have a no. This is for the Traxa. Okay, they keep digging, but they have a very long way to dig, and we are in a pretty healthy position still. So here comes Omnath, which I bounced if I remember properly. Omnath comes again. They have plenty of fetches to trigger it, so I was just waiting for the right moment, which I deem it was now. And they had cast attacks again. They found Oof, Swords, Life Ponder, another Wasteland, Thalia Grist again. But at this point we have very healthy mana with an eye activation, so we were good to go with a Caracas to close the gap. So yeah, here comes the loop, bounce, and we win. And we got into the top 8 in the second position, right behind this man. So yeah, it's pretty fun that we ended the Swiss first and second, and we ended the tournament first and second. Okay, let's move into the top 8. Okay, into the top 8 against Kauft J or Kauf FJ, I don't know, who was playing 8cast. So they had the typical saga start with an Emry, which was pretty annoying, so I went for a crop. I think they thought I was looking for Wasteland, that's why they activated it. Here comes Emry again, we bounce it. And here comes the draw raw power of this deck. We managed to get rid of one of the constructs, giving up on one of our reclaimers. Was too much damage incoming. They happen to have another saga though, so and a force. I wanted to go for Maith with the crop, and a third saga was the nail on the coffin. So now it was just a matter of going for, that was a very good top deck, which allowed me to go for Titan. We went into that, fetching the Cloudpost, but they have a second force, and at this point I was already dead. We needed that green sun to resolve. Maybe I should have played first Reclaimer, see if they wanted to counter that and as a bait, and then play the green sun. That would have been better. They are not a Death deck, so yeah, the beatdown, man. They got me. Okay, here on the play, with a pretty reasonable hand, we have a Dismember, Force of Vigor and a Needle. But that Chalice is going to be annoying for a while. They bubble up. We got a Collect Roof, which is fantastic, but if I recall properly, they happen to have their own Dismember. Yeah, there it is. Second Force of Vigor is nice. Just waiting for a second target on their side. They only have the Chalice, it's not worth going for it yet. Here we had several turns like staring at each other. Ulamog was nice, it was just a matter of ramping into it. And they got a turtle, which is very annoying. So I try to kill it with this member before it gets too big. Pay the ward. But they happen to have a force, so there comes the Kappa. Crop is not bad if we ever happen to get rid of the Chalice, which we try here. But they happen to have another force. So the idea was to get rid of the Chalice, then have crop available. So I pass, and under upkeep I try to kill Kappa and Chalice, paying the ward. Here we cannot afford to keep getting attacked by the turtle. Should have gone for the Elvish. It was a turn, sorry. So here we copy. I think they name the Elvish Caracas, they name, okay. And now we have the mana, either for Ulamog or the Green Sun. And they concede to Ulamog. Because here you cannot see the targets, but if I remember properly, they were the seed and the needle pitching the Caracas, so I have Ulamog loops every turn, attack, bounce it, redeploy it, exile 2 things, and keep going from there. So yeah. Okay, in game 3 we mulligan, we didn't have proper mana in the opening hand. This is much better. Not very interactive with what they have, but here we happen to find the oof, which is fantastic. So we have a very good sequence. They have a Sai, which is very annoying. We need to deal with it. Here we try to deploy the Wolf, but they counter it, pitching the Emry, which is huge, honestly. Although we had the pitting for it. Now the Thopter army starts to grow and attack me. So here is when you can see that force is important when they pitch Emry, because if not, I would have named Emry most probably, and then the saga could have become a huge liability, but here Needle can name it, so one less thing to worry about. An 8 cast is not very good dealing with opposing artifacts. They can, but it's not easy. They keep growing their army. Here is when I started thinking, oh man, I'm playing without Tabernacle, which would have been fantastic at this spot. Though they have a couple of Ancient Tombs, so not that good, but something to consider. Instead, we start developing our mana. At the end of their turn, I think I will sacrifice this Yamimaya, since we have the second one. Keep growing or ramping. Probably I should have activated in response to Saga. That was a bit of a mistake, but the Mosquitoes army, man, kept coming. Then instead I use Crop, which resolved. Here I decided to go for Titan. They started activating Sai in response. Trying to find another force, which fortunately they didn't. So we got our Titan. We got a couple more Cloudposts, so we were set up for next turn. and I was still a pretty healthy life total, so they found an Emry, which didn't really matter. I attack with Primeval, get the Caracas for the loops, and that's it. We got the game and the match to the semi-finals, guys. Okay, here we are for the top 4 against Ganesh69, who was playing Painters, the red version. I went down to 5, which wasn't very promising. They got a welder there. I decided to go for grindstone directly, since they didn't have any artifact yet. And they went very straightforward for Painter. I happened to find the second land, which was Crutch. They had a very big army of tinkering goblins, but as long as Pitting Needle stayed on the table, I was feeling pretty safe. You must remember that we have Emrakul on the deck, so it's not like if they combo we are automatically dead. They need to go for the lantern first. So I kept developing. Adblanc was a very good top deck, but they countered it, which wasn't really a bad thing. So next turn we had Titan as a follow-up. Here they decide to activate, and ta-tan, there's Emrakul. So yeah, keep playing, man. Going for the big mana, because I wanted to deploy Ballista here and get rid of all the goblins. Well, all the weldery goblins, I mean. Here you can see the machine gun Ballista doing its job. And then shutting off the graveyard for good, just in case. They found another welder though, with Breyas. And a Fury for the beatdowns. So I was facing lethal here, but Titan is huge, getting me some life, and still I have crop to fetch Mathofit, for example. So here they come. I decided to take it. They got a lightning ball, but not enough. So they activate, don't know why. And now we have enough mana to do our thing. And there it is. Okay, game 2 of the semi-finals with a reasonable hand. A mulligan. So they deployed engineer, but I had the needle ready for it, and top decking reclaimer was fantastic. So here we could double spell. Have a Magus, which was annoying, but since I had Ballista on hand, it didn't feel too oppressive. Here, after some thinking, I decided to go for Outland. There's a painter. Naming red, which was very clever. Naming red allowed them to pitch a land to Fury. That was very well played on their side. Now we deploy the Ballista for 2. We soak some damage, just waiting to see what they want to do. It's a mirror breaker. And now this draw makes me want to get rid of Magus. It means 3 life and enough mana to green some for Titan. There it is. So get the eye and another post. So the ramp is real at this point. And even if they found another Magus, here I decided to get it through just in case they had another Fury. At this point, we were in a sweet position. Here we get rid of the text, and we are good to finish the game next turn. They found the Soul Guide Lantern, but they don't have the combo, and we got it, and up to the finals. And here we are for the finals. Yeah, I've spoiled the result, but anyway, for you to enjoy it, we were chatting for a while about them getting their revenge, which they did, by the way. So they happened to get Atraxa very quickly, both games, if I recall properly, especially on game 2. Yeah, that force was very important. And the prismatic as well. We top decked a Nail Reclaimer, which was fantastic, but they got removal, I think. Oh, they don't, okay. So they got Reclaimer, we got Reclaimer active for a while. Then I was considering to activate to get a Cloudpost to deploy Vesuva, but I didn't want to tap out, just in case they had a wasteland. So at this point, this game felt pretty reasonable. So surely they can kill my Reclaimer, but I can get a post. Now I recall, it was their Wasteland for the Win game. Yeah. Okay, here we have an off for Titan. I went for I and another Cloudpost, thinking that this game was in a very good position. I was in a very good position, but you will see now that they got natural order for Atraxa, and they happened to find, no, they didn't find a wasteland here, so they were slow rolling this wasteland, very clever, and they got my eye, so stopping me from combo. So here, let me tell you what was my thinking. First, I was thinking that I wanted to attack, and then use the Walking Ballista to kill it. Then I realized that they have Force of Will in the mix of Atraxa. You can see here, Force of Will, up in the right corner. So I was just wondering, should I attack, should I not attack? But you know what? This motherfucker has Vigilance, so it's going to keep poking me. So I decided to go for it anyway, search for the Caracas, and at least I have an answer. And go for the cavern, name construct, and then we can ensure that we are able to play the Ballista since they have a Force of Will. Sure, we are sacrificing a Titan, which is a huge thing, but I got to do what I got to do. So we let it die here, pass the turn. But then we get the Ramon up as well, getting rid of the Caracas, and here things start to come extremely difficult. So yeah, Ramon up wasn't either on but the green sun was. So I didn't think about the Zenith there. So anyway, I had to do what I had to do. I cleared the whole board with Ballista. But they obviously kill it. And they got another wasteland. Oh, it was the same? It was the same? No, it was another one. I don't remember. Here I got a Titan, but we didn't have mana, and they still have the Force of Will on their hand. So at this point, and we have already used both Vesuvas, so we don't have the option to copy Cavern Naming Giant. They let Reclaimer go, because they have swords. At this point the game is already over, so let me speed up. They force the crop, which I thought they would, just in the hope that getting a green mana for Titan. And they start looping with Yorion, which I decided is enough, because they are getting plenty of cards here and I cannot deploy my Titan. The game is already over. Okay, second game. Safe start with needle. They ramp out. I didn't want to deploy second needle because of Force of Vigor. I know they are playing it. Then they got a Collector Roof and we instantly draw a map, if I recall properly. Oh, next turn maybe. So here we try for a Reclaimer, which they kill, and now they get the Atraxa on turn 3, which is very rough. They find Uro, Prismatic Ending, Caracas. Not the best Atraxa of the world, but still very fast. Here we draw Expedition map. I should probably have not played this needle and gone for Thespian copying the Cloudpost. Probably a little mistake there on my part. Trying to work out for Ulamog or Bogin activation. We fail the land drop as well, and they got the Force of Vigor anyway. So at this point the game was already over. I tried to copy here and they used Boseiju and I conceded because at this point there was nothing I could do. Rough, very rough. Nothing I could do about this game. Game 1, it was just about that wasteland they were slow rolling, or maybe they thought they hit that turn, I don't know, but it was game deciding, because if not I had Emrakul available on my turn, but it was what it was. Anyway, pretty happy. Second place in such a nice event feels good. Very happy about it, especially when playing Cloudpost, which is a deck that I love very much, that I care about. In MTGO, there are several people playing it. So it's not as niche as it is in paper, but in paper it's kind of a dismissed deck sometimes. So I really like to I'm getting tired. I am forgetting how to which words I need in English. Okay, to be a kind of a herald for it, on paper. And well, that's it. I hope this is kind of illustrating for you guys. I think it's going to be a pretty long video. Sorry for the first matches that I went a bit too fast probably. I think it's better just to let the game go at the speed they have set it. It's good enough. We don't need to jump in. So sorry about that. And yeah, that's it. Let me be cocky for once and brag a little bit about my second place in a challenge. I think it's my second final in MTGO in a challenge. First final I won with Naya Depths quite a time ago now. So one final won, one final lost. Hope to be able to play more and see what happens. So I'll be back with normal Legacy League videos probably at the end of the week. So just wait for them to come. And as always, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of the tournament and the video and whatever. And see you around.